Well, here we are again on Newsline, and with just 51 hours to Christmas, the jingles of cheer and joy are glowing brightly across the world. And it's been quite a journey over the past week and months. Some events have been truly incredible and inspiring, yet others tonight will serve as a powerful reminder of our collective responsibility. Again on Newsline tonight, the resilience of Nigerians continue to shine through with remarkable individuals and organizations doing extraordinary things. And tonight also, we will bring you stories that reflect all of these and much more. And of course, what is Newsline without a splash of color and glamour woven together into our cultural celebrations, weddings, and transitions. This evening, we will also infuse the spirit of the season right into your homes. But before we begin, let me warmly welcome back Mina Daniels to the news segment after a well-deserved short break. And yes, of course, she returns in style with her signature butterfly winged glasses. Mina, it's great to have you back on the beat.
Same here, Claire. It's good to be back, and it's always good to have some good rest. Good evening and welcome to the news segment. The federal government has lifted the ban on mining exploration activities in Zamfara state, citing significant improvements in the security situation across the state. Making the announcement at a press briefing, the Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dele Alake, states that the nation has a lot to gain from reawakened economic activities in a highly mineralized state like Zamfara that is imbued with vast gold, lithium, and copper belts.
I have the honor and privilege to announce to you that the President has approved the lifting of the ban on mining exploration in Zamfara state. So we shall be communicating officially to the various agencies, the relevant agencies that are involved in the mining activities.
On the recent controversy surrounding the Memorandum of Understanding with France, Alake reaffirmed the federal government's position that the agreement does not imply Nigeria is relinquishing control over its mineral resources or entering into any military pact with France. He emphasized that Nigeria's military remains fully capable of safeguarding the nation's territorial integrity.
On training, capacity building between France and Nigeria. And we need all the assistance we can get in terms of capacity, technical, financial, whatever, in this sector from abroad. And that wasn't even the first MOU we are signing. We signed one with Germany. I think we signed with Australia, and there was no hue and cry.
Alake urges stakeholders to support federal government policies as 2025 looks promising for the sector. 8 states in Nigeria have indicated interest with 30% counterpart fund to key into federal government's newly launched interventions to increase access to electricity in rural communities. Executive Director, Rural Electrification Fund, Doris Obo, said the interventions will upscale solar energy connections and boost rural economies. Joshua Ojito reports.
The initiative EHAT, which is to energize healthcare centers, educational facilities, agriculture, rural communities, and the transportation sector, as well as the distributed access through renewable energy scale-up DEC, received the support of state governments.
Our expected outcome is to create an alignment between the different parties that are required to play a critical role in addressing the electricity access gap in the country.
8 states are ready with a 30% counterpart fund, as federal government is to provide 60% funding for the projects.
Kaduna State ready to receive our co-funding. People like Plateau State Governor Katsina, Cross River, Lagos State. So the list is unending, and we're encouraging those who have not started to emulate who are already in the game.
The counterpart funding that is required from the state, I believe that the governors should do well to attend to that. Already we have a counterpart funding for 10,000 solar for 10,000 homes.
It's the right time now for the transition to renewable energy.
More than 17 million Nigerians are expected to be connected with solar mini grids under the two programs. Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
Federal Minister of Agriculture and Food Security has distributed agricultural inputs to 6,000 wheat farmers in Kano. Shehu Adamu reports.
Launching the distribution exercise at Alkamawa in Bunkuri, the Kano State Coordinator, Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, Isa Isiako Otore, explained that the program is covering 3,000 hectares in the 12 special clusters in Alkamawa and local government areas of Ajingigaya and Garko. The coordinator said the inputs were given to the farmers at 75% subsidy by the federal government, while the farmers will pay 25% of the inputs.
The special cluster centers, we have about 12 in Kano, 4 at Alkamawa, 3 at Gurgur, Ajingi local government. We have 2 at Gaya local government, and then 3 at Garko local government.
Chairman of the Gaya Emirate Farmers Association, Yakubu Ibrahim, expressed gratitude to the federal government for their intervention, saying it will go a long way in boosting wheat production in the state.
The scheme is quite okay. That will reduce the importation of wheat, which is the major food stuff, the grain we need.
The beneficiaries are optimistic that the intervention will encourage them to resume large-scale wheat production, which before now reduced significantly due to the high prices of fuel and fertilizer. In Kano, Shehu Adamu, NTA News.
And Jigawa State Governor Omar Namadi has launched the distribution of kiosks for 300 youths under the Micro Retailers Empowerment Initiative of the state government to reduce the redundancy and increase productivity among the youths in the state. Mohammed Musa Askira reports.
We hope this will be a great start of business that will not only benefit me, but also positively impact people at large. We have heard that Dangote started from a small business, and we aspire to be the next Dangote. We will do our very best to sustain this business, and we hope to one day empower others as well.
These youth were thoroughly tutored on the do's and don'ts of business growth and profitability, which stakeholders view with this empowerment. The ball is set rolling for them to explore their business potential using the skills they have learned during their training. Governor Umar Namadi reiterates commitments to his promises to fight poverty and hunger among citizens in the state through agriculture and youth and women empowerment.
Each of these youths now have an opportunity to own and grow a retail shop to become a much big-time business enterprises and gradually transform them from micro retailers to big-time businessmen. In addition to owning the micro retail shop, all the beneficiaries will be tutored on basic business skills.
Umar Namadi administration has in the last 1 year empowered thousands of women and youth under various categories of empowerment. From Dutse, Muhammad Musa Askira, NTA News.
The federal government is raising the bar in education with a special focus on access and quality. This time, it is partnering with leading UK universities to create world-class learning opportunities for students pursuing petroleum and energy courses. Correspondent Sarafina Okun reports.
Better days ahead for Nigeria in addressing the significant challenges that affect its oil and gas industry, especially for an economy heavily reliant on fossil fuels. Changing this narrative is the very essence of this MOU signed between the Executive Secretary of PTDF College of Petroleum Energy Studies, Ahmed Aminu, and UK universities of Aberdeen and Glasgow through doctorate degree programs at the PDF Centre with the aim of redirecting its scholarship scheme, and also outlines for exchange of academic framework and technology transfer so as to further strengthen professional and academic programs of the college.
That arrangement entails splitting the residency period of the students between Nigeria and the UK. But the students can spend a maximum of 1 year in the UK and then go back to Nigeria to spend 2 years. But while in Nigeria, they will have the benefit of or the opportunity of accessing resources, teaching resources from the partner universities.
This innovation, aside saving the federal government's foreign exchange, will also provide a platform for more sponsorship of students. Collaborations such as this with research leading universities in Aberdeen and Glasgow is a step forward, and it's hoped that the PTDF Energy College will boost its capacities to service the Nigerian oil and gas sectors.
The only way you can grow, this industry is also to grow the capacity of those that will run the industry. And if you've gone to the university in the College of Petroleum and Energy Studies in Kaduna, it's a masterpiece. We believe that following this agreement signed, this facility will be put to use within the shortest possible time.
This is a game-changing opportunity for PTD, for Nigeria, for the National Universities Commission, working with Scottish universities to boost, capacity building and that critical mass of Nigerians with PhDs, in the relevant area of oil and gas.
And we were inspired by the words of PTDF, the vision of PTDF around this, around the new college, and the words from the minister that joined us that shows Nigeria is on the same journey as we are in the UK to make sure we have a future clean energy system.
Serafina Okon Omekwe, NTA.
And a 5-day annual camp meeting of the Church of God, 7-day River State, has ended with special thanks to God for his faithfulness to the Church, State, and Nigeria. Osinachi Samo reports that participants describe the theme of the conference, Be Strong and of Good Courage, as apt. The report.
Isdera Hotel Stadium, Omoko, was filled to capacity as members of the Church of God's 7-day River State converged for a 5-day annual camp meeting. The conference, best described as a family reunion, provided them the opportunity to evaluate the year, recount achievements of the church, and also appreciate God for expected blessings in the coming year.
I want to thank God. This administration has delivered in areas of ensuring that our school, which we inherited unapproved, is today approved by River State Ministry of Education.
Pastor Emmanuel Akpan, who took his message from the theme of the conference, Be Strong and of Good Courage, drawn from the book of Joshua 1 verse 6, admonished Christians to be wholly dependent on God. Choristers from the various congregations rendered soul-lifting songs, while other activities to mark the grand finale of the camp meeting also featured. Leaders of the church, including the coordinator, Abuja Metropolitan Management Council, Brother Felix Ubua, speak on the impact of the gathering.
In everything we do, we always look up to God. Like I just said, that everything, every power belongs to God. He gives it to whomever he wishes to give. So at every time, I always give my all to God. That without him, I am nothing. We are having a team talk that says be strong. There's no time history. Mankind need to be strong than our time.
Even as you pray and holding on to God, diversify to ensure that you support your husband in the home.
With the conference over, members are optimistic that year 2025 will come with diverse blessings from God. Osinachi Samuel, NTA News.
Attempt by an import and export businessman to smuggle 256 wraps of cocaine into the country through the Malam Aminu Kano International Airport in Kano has been thwarted by operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA. Sawa Khalil Ibrahim reports that the seizure, NDLEA said, was the single largest interception of cocaine at the Kano airport since the creation of Airport Command of the agency in 2006.
First time, it was a busy day for officers of the NDLEA Kano Command, and an unfortunate one for a businessman who claims to be into import and export business, who was found to have packed hundreds of cocaine pellets in his body.
10, 11,
Similarly, attempt by an ex-convict to export a consignment of Rofinol to South Africa through the export shed of the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Ikeja, Lagos, was equally frustrated by NDLEA officers at the airport. The consignment was hidden in a cargo containing gari, shoes, men's singlet and other items. The suspect was convicted for a similar crime earlier this year following his arrest for attempting to ship tramadol to South Africa through the export shed of the Lagos airport. In the same vein, an Italy-based businesswoman was on Wednesday, 18th December, arrested by NDLEA officers while trying to board a flight to Italy. A total of 9,190 tablets of various brands of tramadol were recovered from her. Meanwhile, no fewer than 418,330 pills of tramadol and tapentadol, as well as 8,000 bottles of codeine-based syrup were recovered from a warehouse at a building material market in Onitsha, Anambra State. In Abuja, Sadwa Khalil Ibrahim, NTA News.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu expresses profound sorrow over the passing of retired Supreme Court Justice Uthman Mohammed Argungu, describing his departure as a significant personal and national loss. Justice Argungu, who passed away at the age of 90, was a respected jurist and cherished associate of the president. Following Islamic rites, he was laid to rest on Sunday in his hometown of Argungu, Kebbi State. President Tinubu remembers the late elder statesman as a distinguished jurist whose life was dedicated to serving humanity and his country with unwavering integrity and commitment. Reflecting on Justice Argungu's rich legacy, the president recalls his early contributions as a teacher in the Old Sakuti province. This was followed by an illustrious legal career that began with his call to the bar in 1965 and culminated in his elevation to the Supreme Court bench in 1993. His influence as a jurist extended beyond Nigeria, as he also served as a visiting justice of the Supreme Court of the Gambia. In honor of Justice Argungu's remarkable life and service, President Tinubu offers prayers for the repose of his soul and extends heartfelt condolences to his family, the government, and the people of Kebbi State during this time of mourning. Vice President Kashim Shettima has offered prayers for victims of the tragic stampedes that claimed lives, describing the incidents as a national tragedy. The Vice President, in a statement, said the incidents in Anambra, Oyo, NFCT are heart-touching and expressed deep sorrow over the losses. He assured affected families that the federal government will provide necessary support during this difficult period. Similarly, former President Muhammadu Buhari has expressed grief and extends condolences to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu over the series of tragic stampedes in Oyo State, the Federal Capital Territory, and Anambra, in which several lives were lost. In a message on Sunday, the former president expressed sympathy to Governors Seyi Makinde, State, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, Anambra State, and Nyesom Wike, Minister of the FCT, and appealed to the leaders to pass on his words of sympathy and support to the families and friends of the victims and wishes of a speedy recovery to those injured in the stampedes. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, has also sympathized with the families and loved ones of those who lost their lives in the tragic stampedes that occurred during food distribution exercises in Ibadan, Abuja, and Okija. The minister said the tragedies are deeply saddening and underscores the importance of ensuring proper crowd management during such charitable activities, especially during the festive season. He appealed to politicians and other stakeholders to refrain from politicizing the unfortunate incidents, stressing that those tragic events are in no way connected to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration's economic reforms that are designed to uplift the lives of all Nigerians, particularly the vulnerable, without causing distress. The minister called for a collective sense of responsibility and urged citizens to unite and ensure that the Yuletide season is marked by peace, goodwill and joy devoid of preventable tragedies. The 3 days fidel for the late Assistant Director News Digital Media of Voice of Nigeria, Rafat Salami, was held in Abuja. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, is among many well-wishers that offered special prayers for the peaceful repose of the soul of the deceased. Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara reports.
Imam Fuad Adeyemi led the congregation to offer special prayers as family, friends, professional colleagues and well-wishers converged at the Al-Habibiyya Central Mosque in Guzape to fulfill the religious obligation for the peaceful repose of the soul of Rafat Salami. Ambassador Sheikh Redwal Mustafa reminded Muslim faithful to focus attention on building legacies on activities that will be beneficial to them in the hereafter. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, described late Rafat Salami as an asset to the media industry and one who promoted the ideals of Islam.
First, let me convey President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's condolences to the family, her friends, and well-wishers, and the entire media community in Nigeria, to her family, to her friends, and to everyone within the media community. We mourn her, and we also want to take this opportunity to ask the media personalities, wherever they are, to emulate Rafat. She indeed lived a very good life, very professional, very forthright. We pray for Allah to accept her in Al-Jannah. We also pray that the family will find comfort even in death.
On the unfortunate triple event of stampede in Ibadan, Anambra and Abuja, the minister says,
Mr. President also advises all Nigerians to, even when they are receiving palliatives that are meant actually to help the people, situations like that turn into tragedy. It is quite unfortunate. No one prays for that, and Mr. President has already directed that a thorough investigation be carried out with a view to ascertaining the immediate and remote causes of such tragic situations, to also avert the occurrence of these kind of situations going forward. At a time that we are going into the Christmas season, we will not want to have tragedies such as this. The President is greatly saddened by this. All of us are saddened by this, and we do hope that this will be the last that we hear of this kind of situation in this country.
In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara, NTA News.
Nigeria and Ghana in a two-way jollof battle. Details with Bade Adele on Sports Update.
Many thanks, Mina. And of course, Nigeria traded tackles with Ghana in male and female categories earlier today. Let's begin with the Nigeria under-17 girls, the Flamingos, who narrowly missed out on emerging the inaugural winners of the WAFU B under-17 Girls Cup after a penalty shootout loss to their counterparts from Ghana in the final concluded minutes ago. The host nation raced to a 2-0 lead early in the first half before the coach Bankole Oluwo girls halved the deficit through Precious Oscar. With 10 minutes to go in the second half, Harmony Chidi gave Nigeria the deserved equalizer, which forced the game to penalties. Nigeria missed one of their kicks, while the Black Maidens converted all this to claim a 5-4 victory. Now the men, talking about the Chan Eagles, the final qualifying fixture between Nigeria and Ghana for the 2025 African Nations Championship, known as Chan, remains finely balanced after a goalless draw in the first leg at the Accra Sports Stadium on Sunday. Both teams will now shift their focus to the decisive second leg scheduled for Saturday at the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium in New York. The aggregate winner will earn the sole Wafubi spot at the Bayona Championship, which is exclusively for players competing in their domestic leagues. The 2025 African Nations Championship, the tournament's 8th edition, will be hosted by Tanzania, Kenya and Uganda from February 1 to 28. Let's return home now and talk about the Nigerian top flight, as it does look like the hide and seek between Rivers United and Remo Stars when it comes to the leadership of the Nigeria Premier Football League is not stopping anytime soon, after Remo Stars took charge by regaining leadership of the league following their 2-0 win over Bayelsa United, while Rivers United played a 1-0 draw away to Nasarawa United in another match day 8 encounter. Shooting Stars ran out 1-0 winners away to Rangers International, while Abia Warriors ended the good run of Ikorodu City by handing them a 2-0 defeat. Away from Nigeria now, let's move to England, as Liverpool moved 4 points clear at the top of the Premier League, heading into the Christmas fixtures after both Luis Diaz and Mohamed Salah scored twice in a devastating 6-3 statement win at Tottenham. Earlier this evening, just as Manchester United were stunned 3-0 at Old Trafford by visiting Bournemouth. In other results, Chelsea's surge up the table was slowed down by Everton with a goalless draw at Goodison Park. Wolverhampton Wanderers ended a run of 4 straight defeats with a 3-0 win against Leicester City in new coach Victor Pereira's first game, while Southampton forced Fulham to a goalless stalemate. And that's our beat when it comes to sports. Let's now return to Mina and Claire